Howdy, friends. Thank you for listening to the Roundup Podcast. In this season of the podcast, you will hear breakout audio from Roundup 2024. If you have any questions related to the content, send them to sbtccollegiate@sbtexas.com. Don't forget, follow us on social media at sbtccollegiate. Now, enjoy the podcast.
Okay, guys, welcome to Reaching Freshmen. If we haven't met, I'm Zach Cunningham. I am excited to lead this breakout. I led it last year. I'm doing the same thing this year. I am currently serving as the Salt Company Director or the College Director in East Lansing, Michigan. So Michigan State University, go green, go white. Okay, you guys don't know that. I've been, long story short, I was telling that guy, I'm from Texas. I grew up in the North Texas area, Honey Grove, Texas, the sweetest town in Texas, near Bonham or near Paris, which is northeast of here, near McKinney or Melissa or Trenton or Sherman, all those places. I grew up in the church. Followed the Lord really early in my life. My grandpa is a pastor of a Southern Baptist church for 30 years, piano, organ. So hymns, that's my jam, old hymns. And I went to school at the University of North Texas. Go Mean Green. Let's go. To honestly pursue the American dream, like Grant was talking about. I have an accounting degree from there, actually. But when I was there, my sophomore year, I got involved at a college ministry at First Baptist called Overflow. And God used that ministry to change my life. Became a student leader there. Quickly became an intern there, became on staff, and then I got recruited to join the SALT Network, which is a church planting network that focuses on college students. And so my wife and I got married in 2018. 10 days later, from my wedding, we moved to Ames, Iowa, where I lived for 10 months at Cornerstone Church in Ames, which is where the SALT Network began. And then I moved in 2019 to East Lansing, Michigan, to start a new church, the Commons Church, where I'm the college guy there. And so I started a SALT company or a college ministry from scratch there. And it's been 5 years. We've seen God do an incredible work. Now, COVID, if you're doing math right, I think COVID came year one of our church plant. And then after that, God's blessed our ministry. So I've been in small ministries. I've been in larger ministries. I currently lead a ministry of 95 student leaders, and we'll reach about 800 students a week. And so just for context, even as I'm talking about this, I'll try to bring it down to any size and you can talk, but I've been through it, guys. It's been a sweet time. I'm very passionate about Reaching Freshmen. I was just looking last night at our leadership team, all the sophomores so they're now sophomores, they were freshmen who are joining us. I love investing in freshmen. I'm very passionate about it, and so I'm excited that you're here. I am curious, maybe why we're in the room. So remind me your name again.
Max.
Okay, Max, why are you in this breakout?
I just finished my first year. I discipled a group of 3 freshmen and had them lead a small group together, and it went really well. But I'd like to offer an on-campus freshman Bible study next year by becoming a student organization and going that route. But I feel like there's a lot of questions floating, and I'm trying to figure out if that's a good idea and if we should keep doing it.
Nice.
So I thought this would be perfect.
Nice. Okay, Nick, why are you in the Reaching Freshman breakout?
Kind of similar. I was blessed to lead a Bible study of 6 to 7 freshmen, and just focusing on something multiplication. It's inspiring them and pouring to them why it's important to reach other freshmen.
That's great.
And just kind of rotating effect of multiplication, and just reaching freshmen. So.
Yeah. I hope this is very helpful, and we'll get practical. Can somebody remind me what time this ends? So it's 11:22. When is this thing supposed to end? 12:15? Is that right? Somebody let me know if that's wrong. I'll try to make the next 40 minutes or so super practical. Less of me lecturing, more showing you and talking amongst even each other to try to learn the best way to reach freshmen. So here's what we're going to do. To break up our time, I'm going to very quickly blitz through the why reach freshmen, because I do think if you're in this room, you understand the why, so we won't spend too much time there. I want to spend most of our time thinking about the how, practically, to leverage your ministry, your team, to reach freshmen, especially thinking about that first week that students are on campus and even the first month. And my hope is to think through different stages of how we think through freshman ministry at Michigan State SALT. I'm going to end it with a catch-all, just random thoughts about reaching freshmen. We'll do Q&A, and even along the way, we'll have some questions and answers, and then we'll pray at the end. So first, why reach freshmen? Okay, again, I'm not going to spend too much time on why reaching freshmen. Sir, can you tell us why it's important? Yeah, why should we reach freshmen?
I think if you don't get them the first year, you're not going to get them the second year or third.
Yeah, that's right. Your ministry is, I think, 2 freshman classes away from irrelevancy if you don't reach them. Why else, sir, should we reach freshmen?
That's where all the momentum begins.
Yeah.
If you don't, kind of similar thing. If you don't get them then, down the road, you have no one.
Yeah, it'd be challenging. Okay, you with a New York Yankee hat on. Why else should we reach freshmen? Let's get all on the same page here.
I think that's kind of when people are the most open. They need people, and there's a lot of people reaching out at that exact moment, and so I think it's just a prime opportunity.
Yeah, somebody told me once that the two most formative years, like 365 days of someone's life, is from 0 to 1 and 18 to 19. And I think that's true as far as trajectory shaping, like what happens that first year, and then 18 and 19. And more importantly, they need Jesus, right? These are people who need Jesus. I love Psalm 78:4. Maybe you've heard it. It's a long psalm, actually. I was reading it this morning. It's Israel's history. But from the beginning, before they even think about what God's done, the psalmist says, we will not hide them, what God's done, from their children, but we're going to tell the coming generation the glorious deeds of the Lord, his might, and all the wonders that he has done. We want to be a people that's always telling the next generation. We say often, win the campus, win the world. You will change the world through the college campus. And so, okay, that's the why. We're all on the same page. Let's go how here, okay? How to reach freshmen. And as we transition, I'm about to get very practical. We're going to think through strategy. We get very nitty-gritty. I do want to say on the beginning, all of this would be stupid and pointless apart from the Spirit of God working, okay? God is the one that's going to save and reach freshmen. We're about to get really into the details, but if you forget that, it is going to get very confusing to you. We pray often, God, would you turn, we pray water into wine. We say that all the time, water into wine. Can you take this ordinary thing, this ordinary event, this ordinary strategy, and turn it into something extraordinary? Would it have an impact far beyond what it's supposed to? Turn this, I pray that over every sermon I preach. Can you turn this water, I have a water sermon, can you turn it into wine? And frankly, if I only had 60 seconds and not 60 minutes to tell you how to reach freshmen, I'd say two things: pray and preach the Bible. That's what I've found work. If you just pray a lot and preach the Bible. Okay, I can't tell you, the freshmen, at least the ones that I'm interacting with, they're hungry for truth. The comedy, the gimmicks, the say stuff, they're not about that. The thing that we've used to reach freshmen every year is preach the Bible. In fact, at Salt Michigan State, I think I've only preached throughout 5 years. I think I've only done 2 or 3 topical series, but I preached through 8 books of the Bible. And just working through different books of the Bible, that's what's attracted them. And so get good at preaching the Bible, get good at having a 5-finger grip on the word, and preach it unapologetically. Students will come. And so think through that. Preach a better story than the world is saying. Now, let's talk about freshmen. Okay, before you go and talk about how to reach them, it's good when you go to a mission field. My twin brother is a missionary with IMB in Thailand. And before you go to a mission field, it's good to think about the person you're trying to reach. So let's try to imagine what a class, so I think it's class of 2028 this year. Wow, okay, that's crazy. Let's try to, if you could think about a typical freshman, okay, let's say his name's Grant. Okay, Grant is coming to your campus. And you had to use one word to describe a freshman. What would that word be? Somebody shout something out. Give me a word.
Scared.
Okay, what do we hear? Over here, we hear scared. What else? Sheep. Okay, maybe a little lost. Okay, nice. What else? Naive. Okay, a little bit ignorant. Maybe passionate. Okay, excited. Any other words?
Fresh.
Oh, fresh. Yeah. Impressionable is a word I would use a lot. I'd even say accessible. When it comes to reaching people, I think freshmen are probably some of the most accessible people. Lonely might be one. Lots of free time, insecure, looking for friends. They say, what about this freshman class is unique? Is there anything specific about this group of people that you would say is unique, maybe apart from 4 years ago, 3 years ago? Maybe COVID plays a little bit more, right? I don't know. I think they were 8th graders. I think their entire high school career was impacted by COVID somehow. And so keep that a little bit in mind. Maybe that technology probably plays a little bit into that. Okay, so that's the freshman class. Now we've got that kind of in mind. I think they're still in high school right now, right? In Texas. Graduations of high school hasn't happened, public school, right? So they're still in high school, literally. Right now, they're in class. Yeah, high school. Okay, think about them. They're young. They're so young. You're going to see them every year. They look younger and younger to me. Okay, let's go. Can we go how? Here's what we're going to do. I want to walk through 6 stages of how I and we think through freshman ministry. Literally, this is time stages of how we go about reaching freshmen. A few different stages. Number 1, summer, a lot like right now. what are we doing right now between now and the fall. Leader retreat, which I'll get at, some sort of leadership or vision retreat to push forward the third thing. Mission trip to campus or welcome week or some sort of first week when students are on campus. We'll talk through this very practically. 4 is kickoff. So for us, everything's building to a kickoff event, whether it's a worship night or a connection night, whatever you want to do. Then I want to talk about from kickoff to fall retreat, which is a big deal to us. That's about a month time. So again, I want to talk about the first week and the first month. Then at the end, I want to talk about the rest of the year. Like after a fall retreat for us, which is October, do you do anything else to reach freshmen throughout the year? We do a little bit. And so I'm just going to blitz through Michigan State's plan, kind of how we walk through it. First, starting with summer, like how can you be leveraging, like right now, it's May 16th, I think, and we are right now praying for and trying to think about class of 2028. If you're not already, today in this moment is a good start for you to think about class of 2028. Here's what we do in the summertime. Again, very ministry specific, and you can ask questions. And so in the month of May, we take our weekly worship service. So Salt Company, if you don't know context, we do a weekly Thursday night worship gathering for college students. We take the month of May off, travel, staff, break. But starting June 6th, the first Thursday in June, all the way through July, I think actually August 1st is the Thursday, so we'll do a weekly worship service where I think we're preaching through Ecclesiastes this summer, so we've got a topical broken up. We make it a little bit different than our weekly worship gathering throughout the year. We move it up to 7 p.m. and not 8. We make the services shorter, not as long, and then we hang out afterwards outside, volleyball stuff. And so again, that's an hour service, about an hour. I think 4 songs, a 25-minute sermon, and we do that for a few reasons. 1, we still have students in East Lansing that we're trying to engage and preach the Bible to and equip them. 2, it's actually a draw for other students in Michigan to come to. They'll come to it every week. We'll have students come and check it out because they miss their friends and community. But actually, we have freshmen who have heard about our ministry through the grapevine somehow, who will come to Summer Salt. Every year this happens because they want to get a head start on community. And so having something that you're scheduling that they can come to would be helpful for you. We also, throughout the summer, we'll do beach days in Michigan. So we'll go to Grand Haven or Holland on Lake Michigan. We'll do a camping trip that we'll invite to, and freshmen come to each of those. We'll have freshmen come to a beach day. We'll have freshmen come to our camping trip. Even though they don't know anyone, they're willing to get in a tent with a bunch of strangers. It takes a special freshman to jump in on that stuff. Okay, Summer Salt. The second thing we'll do in the summertime is orientations or admitted students day. Figure out what your university is doing. If there's orientations, most of the time, they'll have many orientations, and they'll also have an org fair aspect of it. Try to hack into that, meet freshmen early on, so we'll do that. The third thing that we'll do in the summertime as we think about freshmen has to do with Instagram and social media, which I'll hit on a little bit later. We will already, in fact, I think starting today, we're 3 weeks out, we will reset our Instagram to be a more summer vibe, but also welcoming freshmen. So we'll post, I think, 3 things today, maybe. Change our profile picture color. We'll use Instagram to say, hey, welcome freshmen, welcome summertime. Here's how to get plugged in. And we're pushing one next step in every single post this summer, which is if you're new, class of 2028, fill out our contact form in our bio. Like, we're just trying to get people to fill out the contact form. And so, are you checking on my mic?
Yeah, should we just look at it? I feel like
we're still good. Look, it's counting. I'm great. Okay. That's Instagram, more on that later. Hey, we'll also do some summer equipping for our leaders. Freshmen don't really get involved with that. We call it summer school. We'll do theology stuff. Some other ideas in the summertime, you can reach out to local churches in your state who have youth groups to send you contacts. So we'll do that. We will literally call and email almost every major church in our denomination in Michigan and say, if you have seniors who are coming, we want to know them now. And we'll call them in the summertime and they'll come check it out. So I advise you to do that. The last thing I'll talk about summer before questions is if you're not doing anything, the one thing I might consider is use the summer to get your own soul hot for Jesus and for freshmen and the lost. Like the summertime, guys, is a time to refresh, to recharge. My staff team reads a book in the summertime. I would encourage you to read biographies in the summer. Our entire leadership team is reading through Gates of Splendor right now. Last summer, which is Jim Elliott's biography from Elizabeth. Last summer, I read To the Golden Shore, which is Judson's biography. The summertime is a great time for you to take a step back, to be inspired, to get your soul hot, to go after Jesus. So use that, take advantage of this season. Any questions on summer before you go forward? Don't be afraid. Any questions? Okay, do something. Yeah, find out how to engage freshmen even this summer. If anything, pray for class of 2028. Okay, go ahead.
With summer so what I'm hearing is like there's a lot of multi-steps to the summer, to the prep for the fall, which is great. But was this like a trial and error kind of thing? You tried out all these different things and you just realized these are what work best for y'all? Or is it just like, this is what we've always known, we just do this consistently?
Oh, for summer?
Yeah.
Specifically?
Yeah.
Honestly, every year we change it. So like this year we're going to do, of those 8 Thursday nights, this year we're going to use 6 of them for teaching and worship, whereas in the past we've done every other, so half. So it just depends. Like summer's a time to trial and error. It's not that, to be honest with you, summer definitely helps going into the fall, but it's more flexible. You can figure it out. So we kind of view it, frankly, this is a different conversation, to raise up young preachers and teachers in our church. So they'll teach. I will not teach a Thursday night this summer. We'll have young guys teach Ecclesiastes, and so young staff. So yeah, we've kind of molded it throughout the year. So, but we always do beach days and a camping trip. We've done that every year. So we float to a river. So, question behind him?
Yeah, for my ministry, it's a little smaller.
Yeah.
And we don't have a huge social media presence. So it's like we don't even know who the freshmen are until they show up in the fall.
Yeah.
Really, is there a way that you navigated that the first days of your ministry?
Yeah, so that summer going into when we kicked off, it's still helpful that your Instagram is not just one post or no post. So when freshmen follow, it's is this a new thing and there's no trust? And so you could even this summer begin posting things about who you are. As far as photos go, you have to find some photos of college students to post. But I would just encourage you to ask young freshmen, sophomores in college who you do know, hey, what works on social media, and give them the keys to it. But there's some level of quality over quantity with posts that you might want to think through. But yeah, but it takes time to build that up, man. We were not very good at the beginning, and so but it got more important for us. So, okay, can we go forward to leader retreat now? Okay, so now summer's happened. We had a good time, and now's the time to gather our leaders back together who've been away over the summertime, and to pump vision into them. Culture, all these things, and then go hard after campus. And I'll show you the calendar as far as where this lines up, but our leader retreat butts up to move in. So this is an overnight, it's a 2-day deal. It's an overnight, I think it was from Wednesday to Thursday last year, where they come Wednesday night, all of our leaders, they sleep in our church building, all of them, and we do different sessions where we're training them, trying to pump culture, DNA, and movement vision into them. So I actually want to show you guys, let's see if I can find this. I want to show you guys it's our leader retreat booklet that we do. And so what do you train your leaders on at your leader retreat? Because I think it'll be helpful for you to see how this impacts reaching freshmen. Let's see if it's going to let me get bigger here. Okay, here we go. So, and I can zoom in on this. This is just when you show up. Again, it's from Wednesday at 6 from dinner to Thursday night. And then Friday, people move in. So we're going to butt this up really close. We're going to pump vision and go after it. I'll quickly go through this. The leader retreat, the goal is to get them on the same page. And so they have this booklet. That's Luke 10:2, our network's one of the prayers we've held on to. There's 5 sessions, and so sessions and games along the way. The first one is just vision and expectations. These are just our ministry's DNA and rallying points, 4 truths that are true about you and 4 prayers that we're praying for Michigan State. And then who we expect you to be. This is where we do DNA, authentic, ambitious family. Then this is the top 10. So if you have a leadership team, they need to have some sort of expectations. Here's what it means to be a leader. This is ours. they've already seen this. This is on our leader application. So as they entered in, they knew literally it's follow Jesus, meet new people, go to your connection group and lead it, be in a discipleship group and be honest, and then be part of what we're doing. That's the first session. We also show them a leadership pipeline, which is basically our strategy of reaching people from lost to CG member to CG leader to sent. Whatever your pipeline is, we actually show it to them. We're like, guys, you've actually been involved in some sort of strategy that we've been working through, and you're part of it. And this is where you're on the list, and we want to send you one day. And so we walk them through that. Session 2 is when it gets to Reaching Freshmen. This is strategy and outreach. A guy on my team led this session for us last year. Why reach freshmen? We kind of cast vision for freshmen, kind of like we've been doing here. They're reachable, trainable, sendable. I can't remember exactly what this was and why he has a Hannah Montana quote here. I'm not sure. Life's a climb, but the view is great. I think that's Hannah Montana. Then we walk through our mission trip to campus schedule, which I'm about to zoom in on and walk through this, but we train them on this. We say, hey, here's why we're doing it. Here's what we're doing. Come be a part of it. Okay. Session 3 is evangelism and discipleship. So we want to train our leaders. These are just basic tools, guys. Gospel follow-ups, like how do you have a conversation about God and your story? It's literally their story, your story, God's story. We train them, and then we have them practice. We, speed date with some people there and practice your testimony even. We train them on their testimony. The most powerful proof of the resurrection of Jesus is the resurrection of your own heart. We train them on how to share their testimony. We teach them how to share it in a 15-second version, a 1-minute version, and then even a 10-minute version where we're just trying to give them anchors to walk through. And so that helps Reaching Freshmen kind of pump it. This is how to lead a small group well. We train them on how to do that. There's probably a breakout on how to lead small groups or a team well, so I won't spend too much time there. Session 4 is our global vision. We send teams overseas. In fact, we just sent them yesterday overseas for 2 months. We have 2 teams who are going overseas all summer, so we walk through that. And then Session 5 is very important for Reaching Freshmen. It's literally at the very end of our retreat, what now? Like, what do we do the next 3 weeks? Where we cast vision for mission trip to campus again. They give us their CG time. We talk about kickoff and stuff like that. And then at the end, we show them our calendar for the semester, just different events, leader meetings, stuff like that. So this is our leader retreat. Any questions? Go ahead.
Is that document shareable?
Yeah, I'll share with you. So just email me. If you find my email, zach@thecommonchurch.org, find it online. You can email. I'll share anything with you. I was trying to think of any other things about the leader retreat. We do fun stuff at the leader retreat. They show up. Again, we haven't seen them for months. The goal is to encourage them. They've probably fallen into sin. They haven't gone to church in a while. All these things. We want to remind them who they are. We do fun things. They show up and there's a gift bag with a t-shirt in it and a buff like Survivor. We split up. We do like a fun challenge when they get there. Literally, it looks like a Survivor challenge. Preston Probst, the guy on my team, we rename him to Probst. And if you watch Survivor, that's the guy's last name. And it actually ends with we give them flint and magnesium and a rope. They have to start a fire as a team. And the first team to get it wins. It's this fun thing. So anyways, think about culture. Okay, we talk often shared experience builds trust. So we're trying to share an experience. It'll build trust, and trust is the bridge that the gospel travels on. So, okay, leader retreat. Any questions about this? Our leader retreat, go ahead.
Do you have any suggestions on how that works with a smaller leader group? So for instance, like our leader group's like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Would we just kind of keep with that same thing, or would you suggest maybe a different format?
When we started at Michigan State, I had 12 leaders who were not students. They were young adults because I didn't know anybody. And we did the exact same thing. And so it was smaller. We didn't do a big Survivor thing. We split up into 2 groups of 3 or whatever, 5 or 6 and did that. But it's always good to teach people how to share their God. Now, when we zoom into mission trip to campus, there'll be some things that you would do different as far as big events and tabling and how much energy do you exert over a 10-day period. But yeah, I still think you can train people how to share their testimony, cast vision, stuff like that. But it depends on your ministry structure. So any other questions on leader retreat? We pump things into them like, hey, students reach students. We cast that vision. We say, reach the person you once were. So we have them think about who they are. Hey, go reach the person you once were. A lot of you got saved last year, all these things. And so.
If there's leaders that can't make it to your leader retreat, is that like...
I said, no, you kicked off. There's a few that can't make it. It's fine. Like, it's a bummer. There's a lot of inside jokes they'll miss. They won't play Capture the Flag at midnight at Michigan State with us. We just do some fun things, but we'll send them this packet, try to fill it in. And
the reason why you don't take them to a local retreat center, you do it at the church.
Money. Yeah. Yeah. So Salt Ames, a lot of salt companies go to like Hidden Acres or a retreat center. It just costs more money to do that.
Do that if you have more money, or are you like being in the church and?
I don't know, man. If I had more money, I think I'd do it. But it's fun being close to campus. I will say that, because at night we'll play Jailbreak or Hostage at Michigan State. Like, we'll do something fun. The cops will have a good time with us, and so. But it's cheap. I mean, some people have a leader retreat at a camp, and they'll charge their leaders money to come to their leader retreat. But they'll get a T-shirt out of it, and usually if you get someone a T-shirt, they don't care. So you can think about doing that.
Worth $70.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, you're a leader. You have to pay $70. You'll give a T-shirt and Costco pizza or whatever. So, any other questions on leader retreat? Can we zoom in now to our mission trip to campus? So again, we're building into the mission trip to campus week from our leader retreat, and now I want to show you guys specifically. And when I say mission trip to campus, just so we're clear, that's what we call our welcome week. The 7 to 10 days. I want to show y'all 2 years ago, like blitz of campus in order to reach people. And so I want to show you guys, this is our mission trip to campus schedule. I'm going to zoom in on it literally and metaphorically, so you guys can see it and walk through kind of the purpose, the why, and then how it impacts exactly what. And so this is probably the single most important thing we do to reach freshmen. We put hundreds of man thought and hours into this week. Like, our staff spends, like, we're already planning it, and this week we'll plan it. Hundreds of hours will go towards this 1 week. 7 days worth of outreach to Michigan State. It's almost like a funnel. We're trying to engage as many freshmen as possible. We're trying to become friends with them. We're trying to invite them to kickoff or into a gospel appointment and share Jesus with them. And so we think of it like that. So I want to walk through our strategy again. Michigan State's very different. Okay, 50,000 students. Last year had 75 leaders. So this is going to impact how you think through why Zach's doing this. And we kick off with 700. And so just keep that in mind as we go forward here. But how do you contextualize something like this? Okay, so again, we do a Wednesday to Thursday night leader retreat. So you're actually catching the back end of that here. There's free time in the afternoon. And I'll explain Make Friends Fast, and then a CG commissioning. But then this is where it begins. Friday and Saturday, this is move-in day for freshmen. We do the exact same thing pretty much all day. It's broken up into two things. Make Friends Fast, which is exactly what it sounds like. We have our leaders go to campus. We meet at Spartan Stadium for prayer. And so all of our leaders, if they're free, come to this thing. And we have them bring with them what they like to do. So if it's spike ball, if it's the switch, if it's friendship bracelets, we tell them, do what you like to do with freshmen. That's what we're doing. So they come to campus, some have Frisbees. And so they're legit going to walk around as students are moving in to campus. Okay, we're trying to cast a wide net, and they're just engaging with freshmen. Their parents are still here. It gets awkward, all these things. But we're trying to meet freshmen all day long. And then at night, we're going to do some sort of high energy game or games on campus. And so you can see East and Brody, we have identified at Michigan State, those are neighborhoods where freshmen live. So we'll split up and go to the two neighborhoods where freshmen live. And then we will throw an event each night, East Brody, at one of those neighborhoods. And so instead of doing multiple events, you might ask, Zach, you got a large leadership team. Why don't you do multiple events? I would rather have one event with so many people that it looks exciting instead of split it up. And, that's just the way we think about it. And so these are massive events. We have multiple volleyball nets going, multiple spike ball nets going, and it's incredible. And so students will come to this. That's the first 2 days. Our goal of the first 2 days is to cast the wide net, okay? There's other things you can do those first few days. Like, I think some ministries help with move-in. I think you can partner with the university and help with move-in. Personally, we've not found that to be effective. You have to go through a process. You have to apply. I think you have to wear a different shirt. You've got to be very specific. It's very fast. I personally think that's a waste of your time. I would rather be outside before they move in and as they're moving in and hanging out with them when parents leave. So just think through that. If you want to help them move in, that's great. Some love doing that. We make friends fast outside the dorms as mom and dad are leaving, and we play games. And so any questions on those first two days? Friday, Saturday, casting a wide net. We'll do Dorm Storm, which is just taking our flyers and blitz the campus. Sometimes we've gotten in trouble with some RAs. But I will say this, that first week, guys, every other organization is being very pushy. Why not do the same? Okay, they're going to hear about other orgs. And so this is the time to be pushy the first couple of weeks. We train our leaders to get contacts these first 2 days. And so what we'll do is, the goal is to make contacts at all these events. It's not just to throw games. We will have our leaders, this is just one small strategy to keep track of contacts. We will have them pick an emoji on their iPhones that would represent that year's freshman class. And as you're getting contacts after the last name, just throw that emoji, because oftentimes you'll forget who are these people, but you can search that emoji later and have a list of all your contacts that you met that week. You can always put notes, which is helpful, right, on that contact, but having that emoji is going to help you decipher all these people. Some of my leaders still have their emoji next to them from when I met them that first week. And so that's just a small contact tip that we do. But again, we say often, shared experience builds trust. We're trying to share experience with people on campus. Those are the first 2 days. Then let's go to Sunday. Sunday's unique. This is the first Sunday with students back in town. At the Commons Church, we do something called Welcome Back Sunday, which is a Sunday where we give free Chick-fil-A entree cards to every college student, or gift cards. The owner of the Chick-fil-A there goes to our church. He donates them, so it saves a little bit on budget. So every college student who comes to our church, any of our services, will get a free Chick-fil-A gift card. So there's a little bit of incentivize for especially Christians. I would say we mainly reach Christian students who are looking for a church on this day, and so they're coming. Some people we engage Friday, Saturday will come if they're believers, even some non-believers, but not historically. That's not the goal initially for us, is to get them to that church. And so let's see. MSU doesn't allow cars on campus for freshmen, so we have a huge ride-sharing culture, which actually helps us get people to church. So we'll put them in our cars. And so, hey, that night, because we've gone pretty hard these first 2 nights, we don't have anything for us because Sunday morning's long. But the students, will allow them to do a student-led event that we kind of leave it open to them. So every year at Leader Retreat, they come up with something to do here on their own. I think every year, I say they come up with something, it's the same thing every year usually. They do a parking garage worship night. So it's less outward focus. It's more just for them to worship, to bring the students who are back in town now, because upperclassmen move in Sunday usually, just to gather and worship. So that's Sunday night. Okay, let's move now to Monday, Tuesday. So class, go ahead.
Sunday question. Sometimes churches will do a big lunch on that first Sunday, but it's not what they do typically. So it's they're doing something different than what they would normally expect. And so you get kind of a freshman's first experience is not the experience at all.
Sure.
Would you speak to that? Would you be do the lunch anyway because it's awesome and it gathers them together?
You could do that, but for us, the goal is still Thursday night focused. You're going to see this, and we're trying to pace it to Thursday nights for a reason that you'll see. So for us, if Sundays is where you want to gather them, that's fine. The Chick-fil-A gift cards is doing something there, but Chick-fil-A is closed on Sunday, so they can't we don't really feed them. So, but you totally could. In First Denton, that's what we did. We did a pancake breakfast before church. So, Okay, we've got some level of momentum at this point, but Monday and Tuesday is when we're trying to build momentum and do an all-out campus blitz. And so every single day we're tabling on campus early through the afternoon. And we're also making friends fast. And so we have a tabling point. This is home base for us. On Monday, it's Brody neighborhood. On Tuesday, it's East neighborhood. So we're tabling. You can probably picture the table, actually. It's got a tailgate tent. It's got a table. It's got a QR code on it for contacts. So we probably have 6 or 7 leaders at every hour of that tabling, not 2, 6 or 7, to make it look like it's a good time. We have music playing. Oftentimes, we bring our portable basketball hoop on the campus with a basketball just to shoot hoops of guys as they walk by. You'll notice the things in green here are university-led events. Convocation is a mandatory freshman gathering that they have to go to. Context, Wednesdays when classes start, so they're kind of just hanging out these days. We purposely table right outside the neighborhood near Breslin because freshmen, literally thousands of them, walk by our table. And so they see the Salt Company banner, the flag. We think that's a win for brand recognition, but also it takes a few conversations before they come. And so we're passing flyers out. And participation is going to be your textbook, student org fair. where everybody has an org table and all the freshmen come and give out free stuff. And so we'll have students there. We'll have them sign up to come, our leaders. We have clipboards with contact cards that we pass around. The QR cell service is terrible when there's thousands of students. Freshmen are tired of QR codes, and so if they want their contact, they just write it down. And we found that actually successful. So, okay, that's during the day. Now you'll notice our two big parties are Monday night, Tuesday night here. Where we push a lot of work and energy towards. Every year we've done the exact same thing, and it still works. Every year I say, should we cut something or change it? The students love it. First night is a pancake party. It's actually at my house. My house is right off campus. And what that is a giant, like the best party of the year. Okay, think about a house party. Okay, we have lights. There's music. We buy all of the cheapest pancake mix from Costco we can, a giant crock, butter, stuff, and people show up and it's a good time. So music's playing, like my house is decked out. There's like a bed sheet, a white bed sheet that they spray paint. I think it's pancakes, flip yeah, with like a pancake thing. We hang that on my house. Like it looks like a frat house. Like you roll up and it's like, oh my goodness. We have our leaders show up 60 minutes early to help set up, and it looks like a party, and students walk. This is right off campus. My house is right off campus. They come. It looks like a college party, guys. We're playing do pong or do die. There's music playing. And the goal, again, is for our leaders to be very intentional as students walk up and share the gospel. And then about an hour or so in, it gets really goofy, and they bring out a kiddie pool in my front yard. They fill it with water and pancake mix, and then they do pancake batter wrestling live. And it's like guys will challenge each other. Girls will do it. It gets a little tricky when the girls do it. I get in there every year, and some guy throws me out. They cheer. But picture it. We have hundreds of people gathered around this small kiddie pool, some people on my roof with their flashlights on. And it's just this great time. And every year we're on Barstool MSU. We get tagged. It's this incredible party. It looks like the best party of the year at Michigan State. And hundreds of students come to it. And so we make thousands of pancakes. My house, the electricity in my house cuts out all the time, because I don't know if you know this, but griddles take a lot of power. And so we have generators. We've perfected it, but it's a good party. So that's Monday night. Lots of people. I will say this, every year we've done it, even that first year with 12 people, we've done a pancake party, and someone has given their life to Jesus at that party. In fact, the guy that's coming to my staff in June got saved at the pancake party. And so we're not just throwing parties just to be silly. No, we're there sharing the gospel. We're going hard while people show up. Okay, that's pancake party. And then the Sasquatch hunt, that's going to be your textbook freshman scavenger hunt that we do on campus. We have a guy that wears an $89 Amazon, Sasquatch costume, and we meet at Beaumont Tower, which is Central Campus, and everybody shows up. The Sasquatch comes out. They split in teams. Sasquatch gets a 5-minute head start, and the first team to find him wins. But it doubles as kind of like a scavenger hunt. Let me see if I can show you guys what we do. Freshmen really like to get to know your campus, and so having some sort of scavenger hunt is helpful for them. I'll zoom in here so you guys can see it. Every year we do the same play. There's 2 ways to win: catch the Sasquatch or score the most points. Think social media scavenger hunt, where there's a list of tasks like Buddy the Elf, congratulate a store on being the world's best. I think it's the world's best coffee. So you have to walk into Potbelly and say, world's best sandwich or something like that. You get points and you tag us on social media. They have to have a public account. So we get a lot of followers on Instagram that night. Hundreds of people follow us on Instagram that night, because we say the Sasquatch is going to post hints live where he is. Follow us on Instagram. Again, we're always trying to get people involved, taking next steps, following us on Instagram. This is the whole purpose of that event. They do, at the end, go to a house party off campus where everybody gets free Chick-fil-A. Again, we know the guy, and prizes for the winners. Trouble with the snap. If you're a Michigan State football fan, that's a big play against Michigan. So anyways, bonus task, 200 points. Or jump in the river. I think one person on team goes head under in the Red Cedar River. There's E. coli in that river. Anyways, that's the Sasquatch hunt. Any questions about these 2 big parties? Every leader, so we split the teams up, and the way, you can picture a bunch of freshmen at Beaumont, the leaders form a big circle around them in pairs or triples, and they have to join a leaders group, and they have to get their contact before we start. So again, we're getting contact of hundreds of freshmen that night. So Okay, that was a lot. Any questions on the pancake party or the Sasquatch hunt? I've stolen this from people. Like, feel free. If you email me, I will share all this stuff with you. This is not me. I stole this from Ames, who stole it from someone else, I'm sure. So, okay, any questions? We're building to Thursday night. Okay, let's go back to our mission trip to campus thing. So, okay, mission trip to campus. So that was Tuesday night, I think. Hey, Wednesday night's a little chill. This is the first day of class. We're tabling again in Central Campus, passing coffee out in the morning, and then pups and popsicles. It's just our tabling. We have puppies come, and we give out popsicles. The girls love the puppies. All of our staff have cute dogs. Wednesday night is chill. It's just a sports night. This can get tiring, 2 parties straight. So we don't require leaders to be at this. We have some staff who are there. But we'll have 100 people come out and play volleyball or spike ball or something. But we're building to Thursday, okay? So we can kind of track it. We've built momentum. The parties are keeping us going, but we're trying to get to Thursday night, which is our kickoff, which for Salt Company, again, we do a weekly worship service on Thursday night, and this would be our very first one. How do we reach freshmen there? The first 150 freshmen get a free t-shirt, so there's incentive for them to come. That's on our flyer. We give rides to freshmen. That's a goal of ours at our retreat. And so if you picture our kickoff, this is what we do. It's like a normal Thursday night with worship and teaching. So an hour and 15, 5 songs, a 30-minute message where we preach the gospel at that kickoff really clearly. I've actually preached the same outline for 3 years in a row. I've just chosen different stories in the Bible to do it because I'm trying to reach 2 types of people at that kickoff. I'm trying to reach the church kid who thinks he knows the gospel, who doesn't, and I'm trying to reach the lost person who's chasing the world. And so I will preach the same message, which is the world can't satisfy you. Religion can't save you, but Jesus can do both. He can satisfy your heart and he can save your soul. I've preached that with John 4, the one at the well. I preached that Luke 15, older brother, younger brother. I will do it again this fall. It's just, and they know it's coming. The outline's the same and the students love it. And so I'll preach it. And then we'll do songs. And at the end, this is why we wait for kickoff to get people here. I'll get back up, or one of our staff. At this moment, all of our leaders in the room will get up and leave to go to the back of the room, and they will grab a sign that is for their connection group, their small group. And on the sign, it'll say information like Tuesdays at 7, Brody Neighborhood, Nacho, and Ford, or whatever the names are. And they'll all have a sign, and they'll wear their leader shirt. And I will do the biggest, best vision cast for small groups I can muster. And then I will literally, they all had a contact card on their chair and a pen, and they'll fill that out. And I'll try all my might to push them to our leaders where they're just in a big circle outside with their sign. Music's playing. They'll take their card like, oh, okay, this neighborhood, I live there here. They'll exchange it with a card our leaders have. They have their contact info, and they'll join the group me that night. And they're now in a small group for us. And so we'll push them. And so if you can picture all this mass of people going the same direction, some peer pressure probably plays into it. We're okay with that. Like they're joining a small group. And that's our goal. That night, leaders are required to import all that information by midnight that night. Because if not, the cards are going to get lost and they're not going to import it. So they have to. And we bug them until 1 a.m. until they do it. So that's our kickoff. We have insomnia cookies there afterwards. The Lord has blessed this strategy for 5 years now. I think about 80% of our leaders were engaged that first week. So if you ask them, how'd you get plugged into Salt? They'll say pancake party or Chick-fil-A, Sasquatch Hunt, or Welcome Back Sunday even. So that's our mission trip to campus stuff. Any other questions on this stuff? On kickoff, why we do what we do, small groups? Go ahead.
Okay, so you may not have an answer for this one, but do you have any recommendations for college ministries that are with a private university? Like, for example, our main campus is TCU.
Yep.
And we're not allowed on campus pretty much at all, unless a student invites us. And even then, you're really not even supposed to walk on campus unless you're invited.
Yeah.
They're very much like, they had a bad experience with the seminary there, and just like, they don't want street evangelism, like people that are not on campus. So like, welcome weeks are really hard. We have to do a lot of stuff either at the church or like at our students' houses, which is great. But do you have any recommendations for like college ministries who are like at private universities?
Yeah, my experience is not very good with that. But Syracuse has a salt company and it's private, and they've also been kicked off campus, and they would say very similar things. But they're doing what you're doing. They legit have found a place to table across the street from campus. Like that's what they I can't remember what it was, whether it's like a diner or a church or something, but they table off the street from campus. They'll do all their events at houses, off campus, but you're gonna have to engage with students and have them be the spies that go in. So you have to cast a little bit of vision. So, but yeah, that's a good question though. Yep. Any other questions on it? Go ahead.
Is it just Michigan State, or do you have other schools that are close to you?
Well, so we have LCC, which is Lansing Christian, or not Lansing Christian, Lansing Community College. And we go hard after Michigan State on purpose, and Lansing, they kind of jump in. But there's a couple salts that have multiple campuses like that.
That really is my question. In Tyler, we have TJC and we have UT Tyler.
Yep.
And it's hard to go after both. And it makes a lot more sense just to go hard after UT Tyler, but that leaves 13,000.
Yeah, it just depends, man. Like Michigan State, 50,000, LCC, 10,000. But when I come back to Denton, I mean, Texas Women's University is 16,000. I'm going to reach both. I'm going to try to reach both. But my encouragement would be this: is one woman asked me in the earlier breakout, like, would you split the team up and just run the same play at the same time on both universities and kind of split it up? I mean, I think the best strategy is probably to keep as many people together and each just target like one big party over here, and then the next night one big party here. Because I think the splash is going to help you more than small events at each one. So if you can do that in Tyler, I think that'd be sweet. If there's enough gravity at the university that warrants your ministry efforts, you should do it. Like in Denton, it'll do it, and East Lansing, it doesn't do it towards LCC. They just come, like they see a fire and they come. They want to be a part of where God's moving. So it's a good question though. Any other questions on mission trip to campus to kick off? Okay, let's move forward here. So let's go kick off to fall retreat, because our Reaching Freshmen efforts, it's not simply, I don't know where I'm going to find my deal. It's not that important. It's not just the first week, but the first month we spend time reaching it. So at our kickoff, our CGs will engage with freshmen, and here's our push. I'm just going to go, what do we do that first month? Our connection groups have a goal of doing a gospel follow-up or a gospel appointment with every person who joined their connection group in the first 3 weeks of school. And so again, go to kickoff, all those little cards they get. Their goal, their task before them is to meet with one-on-one every single person in their group. Most of our groups have 2 or 3 leaders, so it just depends. Can you pull it off? And that's the push, because that's going to get them to our fall retreat, which is going to be helpful. We do a freshman event after week 2 of SALT. So on Thursday night, week 2, we do an ice cream float party downstairs, because there's some level of freshmen wanting cohesion as a class that we're going to try to provide for them. We do a big push to keep going hard after freshmen at our first leader night. So we do a once a month leader meeting. And so in September, about mid-September, is our first leader meeting after our retreat. And we'll push hard for freshmen to go to fall retreat. We say freshmen to fall retreat like 1,000 times a year. And fall retreat is a big deal for us. So if you can picture that, every SALT company is going to do some version of a retreat as early as 3 weeks into the school year and as late as 6 weeks into the school year. That's a 2-night overnight at a camp, which is probably what you're assuming. It's a 4-session worship and teaching night. It's games. It's at a camp, an hour off. And we're trying hard to get freshmen there. We'll give them a discount to sign up. So for example, if a normal person who's not a freshman, it costs $100, we'll give them a $20 discount or a $50 discount, whatever it takes to get them there. Our fall retreat, the goal of that is honestly, that's where family happens. That's when our ministry becomes a family. We do think if you can get freshmen to sign up and pay money to get in a car, to drive 2 hours off campus and stay the night with a bunch of people they don't know, I think you've got them at that point. Like, they're pretty hooked. Like, you can get an 18-year-old to travel somewhere overnight twice, you're going to get them pretty involved. I think 80% of our leaders this year who applied, new leaders, went to a fall retreat. Like, of the 50 that we're onboarding, 40 of them went to fall retreat this past year. That was their event. And so fall retreat, just a couple more context things. Like Friday night, we preach the gospel pretty heavy. Saturday morning, it's something about community. Saturday night session is about repentance and confession. And Sunday morning is life on mission with Jesus. Go hard after the campus. We do fun events throughout that fall retreat. Everybody who shows up gets a color bandana. They're on a team, and their connection groups are on a team. And there's 4 teams: green, black, white, and gray. That's Michigan State's colors with gray and black added. Makes for a good picture. There's a competition throughout the weekend. So Friday night, we do something called Choose Your Champion, which they have like college game day signs making fun of the other teams. It gets very hype. And then it's an arena, like a wrestling arena made of caution tape that we've wrapped around it. And each team is on each side. And it's just hype. People are yelling. We have this epic like intro with Drake comes out with a Viking hat on and a toga torch or something, and we cast vision for the weekend. Again, shared experience builds trust. And so like that night we'll ask, we'll say, send us someone into the arena who has a strong stomach. So the teams will all look around, who wants to go, they'll volunteer, they'll enter, and then we bring the milk out and they have to chug milk. First one to win, drink it wins. There's different choose your champion things that first night that make for a good memory. Saturday morning we have a competition, which is like, I think it's we do man overboard, or like Simon Says on the beach at Lake Michigan. And then we have a Super Smash Bros competition. So if you know the video game, if you can picture it, which might sound lame, but picture this giant projector, a small TV that's hooked to it, 4 dudes, maybe a girl with the Switch controllers, and then hundreds of people behind them just cheering like crazy for their guy. It's very fun. And then Saturday afternoon for the finale, it's a volleyball tournament. Whoever wins it wins the trophy. It's a big deal. So it's a fun moment, but we think if we get them to the fall retreat, we've got them. Like I said, 40 of the 50 who applied or that we're bringing on went to our fall retreat. Almost every freshman who becomes a leader went to our fall retreat or to conference. And so that's kick off the fall retreat. Here, let me just hit the rest of the year real fast, and then we can wrap it up. The rest of the year to reach freshmen, we don't do too much. We do keep a freshman bent in our staff team. So on Thursday nights, if we meet freshmen, we're going to meet with them. We're going to sit down. We're going to buy them coffee or lunch. We do an equipping course immediately after fall retreat called Gospel 101 that is required to be a leader at SALT and required to go overseas with SALT. And so picture it's a basic gospel fluency understanding course. It's a 4-week course through the book Gospel 101 by Jeff Dodge. It's online if you want it. And it's a great class. You show up and there's homework, there's a syllabus, there's a test, a quiz that you have to pass in order to finish a class. The best part about this class, though, and the reason why I would commend the book to you, is in the book, at the end of each chapter, there are survey questions that they have to go ask non-believers in their life and come back with their answers to class. It's an evangelism class, basically. So, for example, week 1, I think the question is, who is God and what is he like? Ask people. Week 2 is like scale 1 to 10, how good is mankind and why? And so that question, I actually get some good stuff from it. And so anyways, Gospel 101, some sort of gospel fluency class for your freshmen will be helpful and sticky. They get to know people. We also do weekly tabling throughout the year. So every single Thursday, which again, that's when we meet, we table on campus for 3 hours when it's not snowing in Michigan, which is often. So we'll table, and then in the spring, we'll do an evangelism week. And so, okay, that is pretty much the rest of the year. Some other things just to keep in mind as we reach freshmen. We keep students motivated by using GroupMe. So they share stories throughout the year of when they reach freshmen and share the gospel. If someone gets saved, I think they'll use an emoji of the siren, the red siren. And so when anyone sees that on their phone, they're like, oh, someone got saved. And so they'll share the story with that, which is fun. Our budget for everything I just shared, from leader retreat to mission trip to campus, is $5,000, which again, context, that's about 1/5 of our operating budget. So take staff cost and budget and benefits and salaries apart, like operating budget, that's about 1/5 of our budget was spent in a week for the year. And so that's how we think through that first week. And then lastly, the last thing I'll say is Instagram. Like I said earlier, I cannot stress enough the importance how Instagram and social media is played into reaching freshmen. If you want to reach freshmen, you're going to have to be good at social media. I think Instagram is still the one that I'd say be the best at. I think TikTok is cringe. Snapchat, you can't figure out how to use it. I think Instagram is going to be helpful for you. Like Noah Schatz, he was our creative guy for the first 5 years. He's one of my best friends. I did his wedding. He just got hired at The Porch, Watermark, if you're familiar. He is the lead creative guy there now. So everything you've seen out of The Porch for the past year has been the guy, and he's taught me a lot about social media. And he would say that maybe 10 years ago, a church's website was the landing page, the front door. It's not anymore. Students, in fact, may never go to your website. They do not care about your website. They do care about your Instagram. They want to see pictures of people, not text. They don't care too much to see graphics for events. They want to see people at the events. So just keep that in mind. And I would say quality over quantity. Don't post every day. We post once a week at Salt Michigan State. It's a recap from last week on a Tuesday, looking forward to Thursday. That's all we do. We will do a story post on Thursday to point people to Thursday night, but quality over quantity is going to be helpful for you. Make it fun, invitational. If you don't know Instagram or social media, find a young person that does and give them the keys and let them run. And so one other tip, we have our, this might sound aggressive, we have our leaders put at Salt MSU in their bio on Instagram. So a lot of people will look at people's Instagrams, and on their bio, they'll actually put our ministry on there. We have a lot of people get involved just by, like I like this girl or this guy. They go to this thing, I'll follow it, and they'll come. So, okay, guys, that's all I have on this piece of paper. Any questions about Reaching Freshmen for the next minute or so, 2 minutes?
Is this number 6 on your stages?
Number 6.
On the stages.
Oh, it was the rest of the year. Like the rest of the year, like from October to May, what else am I doing to reach freshmen? So, any other questions? Guys, I'll stick around too if you want to come. Let me do this. Let me pray for us to wrap it up since we're at time. And then we'll, I think, lunch or something like that. God, we love you. We love freshmen. I do pray that you would help us see that the college campus is a harvest that is plentiful. I pray the laborers would not be few on our campus. I pray you'd raise up the harvest to come to know Jesus and to be laborers going back in the harvest. Help us reach the class of 2028, maybe the best year yet. It's in Jesus' name, amen. Guys, thanks for coming, and I'm here if you have any questions.